This one is going to be
The
NeelyFoundation.com.
I'll just write it down and then put it in a second. Okay, so what's your email again?
So it's BHOGUD,
Okay.
Neely, NEELY, Foundation.
.com?
.com.
Okay. And then the password?
Analyst 28.
Oh, okay.
There, what's up? It's working. Good job.
Perfect.
Log in next week now.
I have Facebook. Morning.
The only thing I don't like is that it's because it's not a movie. Something I like. I mean, we were ready. We had
We could have been.
We could have.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
I just watched it.
How do you spell Neely?
NEELY.
Arizona National Livestock Show Breeding Gilt Show. We're certainly excited to have each and every one of you here this morning as we sort through our gilts. We are going to begin with our Berkshires at this time, class number 1 Berkshires.
Yeah, I can still see your head. Okay. We're live.
You ready?
Yep. You want to hop in?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, when you stay down, like, as long as you're below this handle, you're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try to disassemble all this wiring. Okay, that is
Test,
There
test.
we go. Now we're good. Maybe do an introduction of yourself or...
Well, good morning from the 2018 Arizona National Livestock Show Pedigreed Gilt Sale or show this morning. We're coming to you live from the hog barn at the Arizona State Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I can't hear it from there,
We're
yeah.
going to start off our day with Berkshire Gilts. Move through these hogs alphabetically and have a great day. I'm Shannon Schultz. I'm the co-chair of the Gilt Show and Sale here today. My partner in crime is Jeff Maynard. Jeff's announcing this morning he'll be down here shortly to commentate with me as we go through the day. We're privileged to have Travis Platt from Indiana here judging our gilts today and tomorrow, and we are looking forward to a great show. We've got approximately 1,000 head of hogs in the barn this week. We're busting at the seams. Things are full here at the fairgrounds, and the excitement's building, and we're going to turn this first class out here and start our show very shortly.
You can't see the first pen.
Again, as we start our show off today, we're starting off with our Berkshire Gilts, and we'll work through these breeds. And again, today is our purebred gilt show. Tomorrow will be our crossbred show, but we'll kind of let you guys from home watch as we go here, and we'll commentate and talk a little bit about these gilts as Travis works through them here this morning. We show these gilts by age on the purebreds, so youngest to oldest. This is our youngest class of Berkshire Gilts, and this is a breed that has really gotten competitive around the country in the last several years, and these females are very valuable to a lot of breeders from around the country. Looks like Travis has got one gilt pinned off back here in the number 1 hole here. He'll go through here and sort the ones that he wants to re-look at here, and we're waiting on our show program. It's coming to me right now, and so we'll get to talk about who those gilts are and what their pedigrees are as we get those. It's like the one he's got in the first hole there is Shelby Nissen from Willows, California. Gilt that's bred by Kent Bratton family. These gilts range in age from September the 6th all the way back to the end of June. So quite a variance in age and size there. Anybody there at home that happens to be listening to us early this morning, wherever you might be, share this with your friends and the folks that are used to watching us on Walton. Again, we're back here on Facebook Live this year. Things are a little bit different, so tell people about that. Let's get some more people over here to watch this show. We'll be on this thing for the next 3 days through this Pedigreed Gilt show, the Crossbred Gilt show, the showmanship contest, and the Barrow show on Sunday. Again, about 1,000 head to work through here, so we've got lots of hogs to look at. Travis has got a few more pinned off over there. Next one in the pen that he's got there to relook at is Kevin Rogers, a local guy here from Mesa, Arizona. Gilt bred by Heimer. It's a blackout gilt. Another local young man, Remington Stevens, over there with one from John and Thea Eubanks. We'll see how Travis wants to bring these back out and work through them, or if he's got them placed as he's going here. Looks like he's got his top end in and working through the bottom end of the class now to place those, and we'll bring those top ends out and rework them. Again, looks like Travis is working that bottom end, and he's got 4 gilts up here on the top side, and we'll wait to have him bring those gilts out to work through those top 4 again. Kind of a mixture. We got the 2 smallest gilts in the class in the top 4, and the 2 of the largest gilts in the class in the top 4. So again, Travis has got all those top 4 pulled back out. Looks like in the 6th hole there. In the pen, driving the top 5. This 5004 gilt here going away from us is one of the bigger gilts in the class. Again, that's Shelby Nissen from Willows, California. Gilt bred by Bratton. It's a Cardi on a Radical sow. Very nice gilt, born July 1st. That one's good built, good looking. Really evaluating these top 5. Looks like in the 5th hole is Remington Stevens. It's gilt bred by Eubanks. That gilt is sired by Ray on another radical sow. Down to our top 3 out here. Again, we've got Kevin Rogers, the Heimer bred gilt on the far end, Shelby Nissen in the middle, and the 5033 gilt. Which is Ethan McGee from San Luis Obispo, California, another Heimer gilt. That's gilt is sired by Slim Jim. Looks like Ethan McGee is in the 3rd hole with that Heimer gilt. Here's Travis.
Well, good morning, Arizona, and I'm very, very excited to be here. Ever since I got the call to be asked to judge the Arizona National Breeding Show, looking forward to the next couple of days of getting through the gilts, and I've been excited the whole time. And what a way to start here with the Berkshire Drive. I hope everybody had a great holiday, and it's holiday season, so what better way to spend it at a livestock show. So great way to start the morning with a pair of Berkshire gilts. Very, very competitive class all the way through. I know there's a couple months spread in terms of age, but I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to judge them by how they are. If the best one's a little one, the best one's a big one, that's the way I'm going to put my priorities and emphasis. It doesn't matter necessarily the age. We're just going to sort quality. 2 gilts are very similar on the top end of the pair. I read one with just a little more reach off both ends. If you would, help me congratulate the young lady right here. She's going to have our class winner. That's the gilt that the June gilt that puts the most together in terms of look and balance from the side. I think the way her angles are up front, high quality kind of an underline, a big-legged kind of a gilt. Maybe not the biggest or the widest coming at you, but I call her good enough. I think she's very functions. She functions good off both ends. She's got a good high quality just look on the side. I think she puts a lot of neat things together. Very appealing gilt, extremely well prepared. Gilt comes into 2nd. I like this gilt shape down her top, maybe better than our class winner. Another one that's angle reads good up front. One that maybe just want to tweak her a little bit as she goes right away in terms of her just hot placement. The one that I thought from the shape and just standpoint of balance and design from the side, she suited me second best. Here's a gilt that we drove a little bit longer, but a lot of neat things about this particular hog. She's really stout in her features. She's a stout-headed hog. At the same time, maybe give her just a little more extension in her face, but one that I thought balanced up good enough. Extremely, extremely heavy structured. The longer the drive goes on, she wanted to get a little bit tighter out of her hip. Just want to stretch her a little bit off both ends. Smaller and younger gilt comes out next. Another one very, very high quality in terms of one that's got a great future because she's got an awesome look in her head and neck. She's got some shape and muscle. She gets a little quicker step in there behind for me. Gets a little straighter from hog to ground. A little bit of feet, a little bit of time. That one's the better days are ahead. Just want to tweak her a little bit there behind. Another gilt that I like a great deal. I guess the time on feet. She's a little coarser about her underline for this particular size. Just a little harsher in her body, but one that's obviously got less days on feet, but quality's there all the way through. Just need to give her more development, a little more in the center part of her body. Next one comes out, extremely heavy structured. She gives you a nice look on the side. She's a little shorter in her hip. She gets a little straighter from hock to ground. I thought her structure and heaviness of bone was good enough to move her here towards the top. The 7th place one comes out next. Another one extremely well prepared gilt, great head and neck. She's a big forearm kind of a hog. She gets a little flatter in her forerib and center body, gets a little quicker stepping behind. I visited with 8 through 12 on some things we changed about their gilts. But a good class. Let's congratulate those exhibitors with a round of applause.
I'm just gonna keep running it because if it does eventually switch, then it was running it. Okay, I'll put it back in.
Congratulations to Shelby Nissen from Willows, winning class number 1 of our Berkshire Gilt.
Again, congratulations to
Second,
Shelby
Kevin
Nissen from
Rogers
Willows,
from
California
Mesa,
on
Arizona.
her Cardi
Third,
Radical
Ethan McKee
Gilt
from San Luis Obispo,
from Kent
California.
Bratton.
Fourth,
Second in that
Dusty
class
Rose
was
from
Kevin
Gilbert,
Rogers
Arizona.
from Mesa, Arizona.
Fifth,
Heimer
Remington Stevens, Levine,
bred Gilt.
Arizona. 6th, Caitlin Galloway, Hutchinson, Kansas. 7th, Taryn Wright, Hollister,
that gilt is
California.
sired by Blackout
8th,
110.
Hannah Pickard, Chandler, Arizona. 9th,
Next
Dale
class
Black,
coming in is
Aaron
our Class
Canyon.
2 Berkshire Gilts.
10th, Trinity Harder, Modesto, California. 11th, Carson Ostander, Prineville, Oregon. 12th, Ellie Kowalski, Bend, Oregon. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Coming into the ring at this time is class number 2 of our Berkshire Gilt Drive. At this time, we would also like to introduce our Junior Breed Gilt Show judge, Mr. Travis Platt. Travis and his wife, Adrian, and their 3 boys are from Roanoke, Indiana. Outside of judging shows, he partners in Upper Hand Genetics, a 100-head sow herd, focused primarily on raising high-quality show pigs, and he and Adrian are the brains behind thepigplanet.com, a full-service website that keeps followers up to date on the latest show and sell information in the industry.
Again,
Platt
we've got
studied animal
Class 2.
agribusiness at Purdue University and says it's always fun to evaluate the good ones.
Stop him.
We are happy to have Travis here today. Please help me in welcoming him to
So as we bring this second class of gilts out in the Berkshire division here, we've got, looks like about 10, 11 in this class, again from 1st of May to the middle part of June. Travis has put a couple of gilts up here in this first 2 holes to reevaluate as time goes on. The weather's a little cooler here in Phoenix today. It's about 45 degrees rather than the 70 degrees that we're used to. A little cooler here this week, and but still some of our folks from the Midwest are really enjoying this weather rather than being at in home in the snow. But from what I understand after talking to Travis this morning, that maybe there's a little bit of a warm snap there in the Midwest, and the weather's very similar to what we have here today. So. Looks like Travis has got 4 pulled off here on the top side and continues to evaluate these, and he's moving them on into the pins that they need to be in. Starting down there on the bottom side again and going to work his way back to the top. Looks like number 1069 is Mara Soto, is in 11. Got one in the 10th hole. Looks like going in number 9. It's a gilt there in the center of the ring. The young man with a red rag in his pocket, number 6617. That's Diego Lofton from Lindsay, California, with a popular gilt, bred by Earl Merritt. Like then the next hole is Lane Gardner from San Miguel, California, bred by Lane Gardner, gilt sired by Nelly. Looks like Travis is going to pull those top 4 out and run these next 2 in the pin there and drive for the top end. Looks like in our 6th hole there is the 7089 of Emma Suing with her Clio gilt, bred by Mark and Sandy Ottenwalter. Center part of our ring going across there is the 6664 JT Stinson. Keep Talking on a Keep Talking double bred deal there, bred by Mark and Sandy Ottenwalter. Looks like several in this class are from the Ottenwalter crew over there. Again, they're a big sponsor of our swine show here. We appreciate their support, along with Next Level Livestock Camps. Our good folks at Sanderson Ford here, the Kimberly family, are great supporters of youth in agriculture and youth in general in our state. Great to have them here. Sullivan Supply, Show Bloom, of course our guys over at WW Paul Scales. Awesome to have them here as sponsors also.
We're just really delayed. So
Okay.
like it's on class 1 right now, but it'll go to class 2 like in 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Looks like Travis has got in the 4th hole there the 4654. Blake Eller, gilt sired by Julia, bred by Jim Thompson. Looks like our top 3 that we've got driving out here again is the 6664 of JT Stinson, the 2551 there, young lady in the blue sweater in the middle of the ring. That's Katie Howe. That's a Clio, Keep Talking, bred by Ottenwalter also. So looks like our top pair are both Ottenwalter bred gilts. That firm has gotten in the Berkshire deal here the last couple of years, and just like everything else they seem to do out there, they're pretty aggressive about it. So good to see them reaching out there and getting some different purebred breeds in their sow line. Travis is going to come back to the mic and we'll see what he has to say.
I think we stepped up the heat here in this Berkshire Drive. And I think this pair of gilts on the top end are awfully good. And there's still some differences between them, yet to offer a lot of quality and a lot of breeding value. With that said, of the pair, I ring one with just a little more look and design, a little more just overall flexibility off both ends. If you would help me congratulate this young man right here. He's got our class one. I think that's a real good Berkshire gilt that puts a lot of good things together as far as one that's attractive still on the side. She's heavy enough in her bone. Her pastures are right. Great looking. She ties in real good there in the center part of her body at the same time. That's a nice place to start. The gilt in second has a lot of breeding value for me. I mean, that one there is as stout and as big-legged as you can make one. Yet one, I just want to give just a little more reach off both ends, but one that's extremely heavy bone. She's really opened up. Want to just lengthen her hip ever so slightly and give her a little more flexibility out of her hind leg. I like her look from the side in terms of one that's still good-headed for as big and robust as she is. I like her tail set a great deal as well. That's a big root, and I think everything goes together. I like that gilt awfully well. I think one that could be fun to breed at the same time. I like this gilt's design and balance that comes into third. One that maybe just want to just clean her hide up a little bit. Wants to wrinkle up, and I think that throws her appearance away because her set and angulation, her shoulders right. She's a heavy bone kind of a gilt. Just need to fill her out. Just give her a little more just overall freshness for the drive today. Give her a little more bulk comparing to the top two. Next gilt does have more bulk. She's a little stouter all the way through. She's a stouter headed kind of a gilt. One we just want to just give a little bit more shape down her top line. She gets a little flatter in her forerib compared to some of the other ones. For as dense as she is up in her head and neck, needs to tie in a little bit better there in the center part of her body. Like that gilt's feet and legs to put her forward. Next gilt comes out bigger, longer, they're type and kind. Need to see more muscle in that one for me for this particular age, but one that I thought had enough look and design, high quality underlying that particular gilt. A more moderate frame gilt comes out next. Like her body, like her density that she does have. Just gets a little more tangled up there the longer the drive goes on. She's a little shorter hip, but a really good class of Berkshire gilts I visited with the remainder of the exhibitors. Let's congratulate them all with a big round of applause.
Congratulations, winning class number 2 of our Berkshire Gilts, J.T. Stinson from Arboga, California. Second, Katie Howe from Central Point, Oregon. Third, Jesslyn Peterson, Merced, California. Fourth, Blake Eller, Tipton, Iowa. Fifth, Ricky Lofton, Lindsay, California. Sixth, Emma Suing, Bend, Oregon. Seventh, Cade Ostrander, Prineville, Oregon. Eighth, Lane Gardner, San Miguel, California. 9th, Diego Lofton, Lindsay, California. 10th, Dylan Galligan, Brighton, Colorado. 11th, Mara Soto, Chehalis, Washington. Congratulations to all those exhibitors. Coming into the ring at this time is our third and final class of Berkshire Gilts.
Again, class 2, our top 2 in there were class winner there was J.T. Stinson. That was the Keep Talkin' gilt bred by Otten Walters. And second in that class was Katie Howe from Central Port, Oregon. Another Keep Talkin' litter mate there from Otten Walters. Coming in the ring now is our class 3, our oldest class of Berkshire gilts. Those gilts are all April gilts from the 1st to the 18th of April. Again, it looks like we've got 9 gilts in this class. Got hogs coming from all over the country. We got hogs from Iowa, Texas, Indiana, Missouri, scattered all over the country. Very nice classic gilts for the the age of these gilts out here. They're getting up there in age. Those April gilts, you know, those things are 8 months old, but still look fresh and very presentable. And these gilts are ready to go home and get in a breeding pen and start having some litters. Young lady in the purple down there, 7127. Christy O'Walt from Paso Robles, California. That's a whatever it takes gilt. Very nice gilt there. Like in the 8th hole there is Southern Long, gilt from Bryce Conover, sired by Game On. Like in 7th there is Lauren Bliss. Lauren's from Chowchilla, California. Gilt bred by Mason Grady. Sired by Take That. Travis is starting to let these other gilts back out that he put up there to rerun earlier, and so we'll see how they sort out. Gilt on the far end of the ring there, the lady, young lady with the paisley shirt there, the big gilt there. Hannah Seymour, that's a gilt bred by Kent Bratton family, sired by Radical. Big, wide, opened up, big bodied kind of a gilt, really stout skulled, nice looking gilt there. That one, I would guess, runs right up at the top of this deal. From Nebraska, the Hirschfield family down there in that turquoise shirt, the 4863 Cretan Hirschfield. That family's been in the business for a long time, and Grandpa, I'm sure, is Ross, and great family there. Jason's been out here and judged this show for us here in Phoenix several years ago, and it's good to see that family here. That gilt is gilt bred by Mason Grady and from sired by Whatever It Takes. Like the top 3 again are Hannah Seymour with the Bratton gilt, Hirschfield, Cretan Hirschfield with the Mason Grady, and the 4043 of Josh Cole from Merced, the Heimer gilt, sired by Blackout. So 3 different breeders from around the country, the top end of this final class of Berkshire gilts. Really nice set of Berkshire gilts. For me, I guess the one that I kind of favor is the Seymour girl there with the Bratton gilt. That one's big-legged and big-bodied and super flexible, and we'll see how Travis lines them up, but that one's awful good in my mind. tough top end here with these top three. Travis really evaluating these gilts to see how he wants to lay them in there. He's coming to the mic. We'll hear what Travis has to say.
This is one of the deeper Berkshire Gilt classes I've had the time to evaluate. I mean, we're quality all the way through, and the young lady in ninth, I hated to put her there because that's a real high-quality gilt, and I truly mean that. I think quality runs all the way deep. I think the top trio out here are, there's awesome differences within them. There's some maturity within them, and just bouncing it through. I took a little more time, but I got to be comfortable with what I do throughout the day, and I think all three of these do need a little more time to evaluate because quality is awfully good. Of the three, I read one with the freshest kind of a look, the gilt that just balances up so well. Probably got just the fewest holes for me and still offers a lot of high quality in terms of shape, design, build. I read her with the most comfort knees. If you would help me congratulate this young man right here. He's going to have our class winner with the real high quality Berkshire Gilt. Is she the heaviest skeleton? No, I don't think, but I think she's very adequate for what she is. She designs right, her structure's right, high quality kind of an underline, and still gives you a great look from the side. I think a nice place to start. Let's congratulate the young lady right here. She's going to be second with an awesome gilt. Does a great job sticking this one. One in terms of bulk and mass, she has the advantage within the drive. I think she's extremely well prepared kind of a gilt. She opens up good coming at you. Big cage kind of a gilt. Want to clean her up a little bit there in her lower third and maybe trim her underline up. A little bit of a spacing issue there, but I guess the longer the drive goes on, she wants to maybe throw her right hind a little more than ideal. But I like that gilt's bulk. I like the stoutness that she does have. I think a very high quality kind of a gilt. Maybe pushing the envelope in terms of just being past the prime, just a little bit wanting to wrinkle up. The gilt third is awfully good. When she hit the ring, I thought there's a great class winner because she's that caliber. She gives you a great look on the side in terms of her head and neck. She designs awesome on the side. Maybe the one I prefer on the side of our top trio because she levels up. I like the way she just gives you a great look. Her angulation to her front shoulder, her knee, high quality underline. Get on top of this gilt. Need to see just a little more spread and bulk in her cage. I think we get right behind her. She's probably the least descript down her stifle muscle. Need to give her a little bit more bulk for her age. On an April gilt, just want to see a little bit more of her. Young man does a great job driving her. That's a great third place gilt. It killed me to put a high quality gilt like that in third. Fourth place gilt, bigger in her type and kind, and that's okay. Want to trim her underline up there, a few spacing issues, but that's not why she gets beat. I think for me, she's just a little past her prime. Need to see more shape and bulk and just power in that one. I like her angle that she does have on the side in terms of one that can plant and go off both ends. She gets a little closer stepping behind the longer the drive goes on, but I think one, probably from a maturity standpoint, just looks like she needs to be in the sow lot. She gets a little bit bigger and less descript. Similar situation with this gilt. She's bigger in her type and kind, gives you a great look. You get on top of her, she's a little deceiving. She's got as much spread and shape as anything in the class. Just for me, she gets a little flatter there in her forerib, and the longer the drive goes on, she wants to throw her hind end just a little bit more than ideal. Young lady does a nice job driving her. That's a high quality kind of a gilt. Here's a gilt that comes out here in sixth that I love from the side. I mean, one that's really good in terms of her frame and moderation. She's a big centered kind of a gilt. Young lady does a good job showing her positives there. Where I want to correct her and change her out of her hind leg there. She's a little puffier in her hop. Probably just doesn't plant and drive. Need to make her a little bit longer hip. Really good skin and hair, well prepared, well shown kind of a gilt. Just need to clean her hock up to be more ideal. I visited with the three young ladies there down the way. Let's give them all a big round of applause for a very high quality class.
Congratulations, winning class number 3, Creek Hirschfield from Nebraska. Second, Hannah Seymour, California. Third, Josh Cole, California. Fourth, Faith Geiswhite, Texas. Fifth, Kirby McConnell, Oklahoma. Sixth, Christy Walt, California. Seventh, Lauren Bliss, California. Eighth, Taylor Germente, California. And ninth, Sutter Long, California. Congratulations to those exhibitors. At this time, we will have our champion Berkshire Drive. class number 1, Shelby Nielsen from California. From class number 2, JT Stinson, California. And from class number 3, Cretan Hirschfield from Nebraska. Let's give all of these first place exhibitors a big round of applause.
Well, as we bring our 3 class winners out here for our Champion Berkshire Drive, I think the quality is really deep there. And again, we've got JT Stinson down there with the Ottenwalter bred Gilt on the far end of the ring. Hirschfield here, the 48-63 in the turquoise shirt that wins our last class. And then Shelby Nissen there, that's the winner of our first class from Willows, California. So it looks like we got two young people from California here with Ottenwalter bred hogs, and then the last class there with one bred by Mason Grady, the Hirschfield family. Take that back. The
Put our hands together out here for our 2 young men. Or young
Class 1
lady
winner,
drivers for the
Shelby
Champion
Nissens, is a
Berkshire
Bratton
Gilt.
hog.
If the day keeps on rolling here with the breeds, with the quality, it's going to be fun. And I think the Berkshires have been very, very good all the way through in terms of quality. Yet there's differences, and I visited with them within each class. And I think the young lady that wins the first class has one that's as good on the side as you can make one. Very, very the way she functions out of her front end is correct. Maybe gets under herself just a little bit. Maybe want to pull her apart coming at you, but on the side and in terms of flexibility, I think she's got to get into the hunt because she offers a lot of quality there. Young man out of the second class has one that's got some wow factors to her, awesome head and neck, one that ties into her shape and muscle. She just pulled apart as anything coming at you and leaves you with a ton of width and power, and still she can go off both ends, and I think that's a positive thing to have a power hog that can get up and go and still be attractive on this side. Young man out of the last class has one that just kind of looks like a Berkshire sow in terms of one that can get out and go. One that's got some shape and freshness. I call her in class. Is she the heaviest bone? No, I thought she matched enough in that particular drive. But one that I think offers a lot of quality from just a female standpoint. Maybe, as I said, not the heaviest structure compared to a couple of the other ones, but I think she's got to get into the mix. So, great set of Berkshires all the way through. The one that suits me best, I think, does have that wow factor. Shape, look, design, bone, and body, just puts it all together. Young man out of the second class, congratulations. You got to stand for the Berkshire.
Congratulations, our champion Berkshire was driven by JT Stinson from Arboga, California. Coming in from that class will be Katie Howell from Central Point, Oregon.
Second place Gilt comes out, and I like that Gilt from a breed value standpoint, her look, her design, and her stoutness that she does have. She gets a little shorter hip, maybe gets a little shorter stepping. I thought Champion Reserve were close, and I think they're different kind of hogs, and that's all right with me. I'm going to put them together the way I see them. One that suits me second best. Feet, legs, design, freshness. Good man of last class. Congratulations.
Your reserve champion, Berkshire Gilt, was Cretan Hirschfield from Benedict, Nebraska. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Just a reminder, our breed champions will come back tomorrow immediately following our Crossbred Gilt show for our Grand Champion Overall Gilt Drive. That will happen tomorrow after our Crossbred Gilt show.
Where's the website that I tell people the June? It's just Facebook. Okay, like yours and then, okay.
I put your own one.
So which one is that one going to be?
Now this one.
This is the show ring?
Yeah, check it out.
Okay, and this one is the show ring.
Yep.
What is this? Testing 1, 2.
Well, as we wrapped up our Chester Gilt Drive there, champion was JT Stinson from California with a gilt bred by Ottenwalter. The reserve was Cretan Hirschfield from Nebraska. That gilt was bred by Mason Grady, sired by Whatever It Takes. JT Stinson's gilt was sired by Wintex Boar Keep Talking. Bring our first class to Chester White gilts in the ring here. We've got 2 classes of Chesters today. Looks like we've got 5 in the first class and about 8 in the second.
Classes and just five in this drive. Easy thing to do is to use this young lady right here to win the drive. Let's give her a nice round of applause. I think she's got the quality gilt that offers some heaviness and structure, a unique kind of a look up in her front end, one that I think is heavy boned and one that can reach and go as good as anything in this particular drive. The Gilt second's a little bigger in her type and kind, one that's got some presentation from the side. She gives you a great look, not as bulky, not as wide as our class winner. One we just need to see more pounds and just overall shape and muscle. I thought her skeleton was second best in this drive. The Gilt third is very similar in terms of her design as our second place Gilt. She just wants to roll up there in her back ankle. Just need to give her more security the way she plants and drive. Longer the drive goes on, she wanted to get a little tighter out of her hock. The one that I thought had as much shape and muscle as anything in the class. Just need to see her get out and go better out of her hind leg. Muscular Gilt comes out fourth, gets a little rounder out of her hip. Just need to see more shape and just overall flesh in that particular hog. Need to lengthen her hip at the same time. Next one comes out, gives you a heaviness to structure, design on the side, a little bit longer body kind of a hog. Need to see more muscle. Need to fix her top line. Good class of chesters. Let's put our hands together for those showmen.
Congratulations, winning class number 1 of our Chesters, Avery Kimball from Colorado. Second, Mackenzie Willie, Oregon. Third, Sierra Rios, Colorado. Fourth, Caden Orr, Wyoming. And fifth, Wyatt Griffin, Wyoming. Coming into the ring at this time is our second class of Chester Gilts.
So our winner of Class 1 Chesters there, if you couldn't hear, was Avery Kimmel from Montrose, Colorado, bred by CNC Show Pigs and Diamond Livestock, gilt sired by Slow Swimmer. Second in that class was Mackenzie Willie from Oregon City, Oregon, gilt bred by Ottenwalters, sired by Gotcha Covered. Coming into the ring now, we have our Class 2 Gilts coming into the ring. A quick turnaround out and back in was the 34-47 of Kaya Typen from Klamath Falls, Oregon. Gilt bred by Ottenwalter, sired by Mountain Mike. It's a gilt or a boar that they have there at home. I think that boar was the champion at Expo 2 years ago. He puts up the 68-20 to rerun her. That's Maggie Roach from Gonzales, California, bred by Madison Lloyd. That's a Jack in the Box. Puts up next to rerun is Hannah Seymour. That's a gilt bred by Blake Danner, sired by Pound Sign. So far, Travis has got 3 of them put up to rerun and continue to pull them out. There was 11 in this class. I missed the last 3 on the last page. $64.99 gilt. Gets put up to rerun. That's Jessica Wolf, Shady Cove, Oregon. That's a gilt sired by Pound Sign, bred by Ottenwalter again. Alton Walter Cruz probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 hogs in the barn that they've sold. Been big supporters of our show here. Travis has got the 6459 there to rerun. That's Jack Goodwin from Bend, Oregon. Another Alton Walter bred hog, sired by Pound Sign once again. 239 litter. Looks like there's about 4 of those hogs in this class. Again, Travis is putting this bottom end in, and then he's bringing these top 5 that he put away to rerun against the 2 that he left out here, and we'll see how this thing sorts out. Again, the next gilt that he brought out here was Hannah Seymour there in your screen, 7145. Stout-legged, nice gilt. One he puts up first and brings back out again quickly is the Kai Taiping gilt, Mountain Mike gilt. In the 7th hole, there's the 3644 Nathan Nathaniel Drenner from Merced, California. Hog bred by Bill Range Farms. The 5th spot, Travis Scott put up there. Couldn't get the back tag number from that young lady. Looks like we're down to 3. Taiping gilt, Seymour gilt. $68.20 Maggie Roche from Gonzales, California. Looks like she goes in 3rd.
Real good class of Chester Gilt. Take another depth and quality run all the way through. There's parts and pieces. top two gilts, I think, come to the top, and I think do so from a balance standpoint, still offer some muscle look and design. The one that's got the most reach off both ends and wins pretty easily for me, this young man right here. I think this gilt's a combination in terms of design. You get on top of her, she opens up real fresh about her shape and muscularity. Good body kind of a gilt that I think stays together structurally, has a little more length to step there out of her hind leg. A lot of breeding value in this gilt, and the young lady does an awesome job driving her. As heavy skeleton as anything in the class. She gets a little flatter there up in her front feet, and where I get a little more concerned the longer the drive goes on, she gets a little short step in behind. But I like her tail set, I like her look from the side. I think that one's got some generating ability in terms of flesh. Maybe gets a little easier to top. But a gilt that I think has as much shape and muscle and bone she needed to run second. The gilt third is more of a design hog on the side. You get on the profile. She gives you a great look. Her ankle's right up in her front shoulder. She gets a little shorter stepping due to probably being a little bit shorter out of her hip. Just want to give her a little more power for her age for me, but a nice gilt there to land third from a design standpoint. Next one comes out is heavy boned and as durable as anything in the class. She wants to close up a little bit, then from her ankle down. She's not quite as comfortable out of her right hind. The one that offers some stoutness, bone, and power. Big-footed kind of a gilt there to be a fourth in this particular drive. Here's a design gilt that is hard shaped as anything in the drive. One that's got abundance of power and muscularity. Longer the drive goes on, she gets short stepping off both ends. She's a little harsher in her forerib and center body. I like her up when she's up on her pastures, and one that is profiling good enough. Just need to see her get out and go better. Here's a design gilt on the side. Just runs out of structure. She's a little bit too frail for me. Gets a little easier in her top, but I thought flexibility is awfully good in that gilt. Needing to land second in this class. We need to make her bigger legged. Next one comes out is heavier structure. Need to open her up, coming and going, give her a little bit more muscularity. Young man does a good job. I visited with the remainder of the young people down the way. Let's give them all a big round of applause as they head back.
Congratulations, winning class number 2 of our testers, Kai Taipin from Oregon. Second, Hannah Seymour from California. Third, Maggie Roche, California. Fourth, Jack Goodwin, Oregon. Fifth, Jessica Wolf, Oregon. Sixth, Rhett Taylor, Oklahoma. Seventh, Nathaniel Drennan, California. Eighth, Jaden Nugenbauer, California. Ninth, Madison Lloyd, California. 10th, Lily Banfield, California. And 11th, Michaela Scartino, California. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Coming into the ring at this time, we'll have our first place individuals from each of our classes. From class number 1, Avery Kimball, Colorado. And from class 2, Kai Taipin from Oregon.
Give our 2 exhibitors out here a big round of applause driving for our champion Chester Gilt. Just 2 classes, but I think quality was very deep all the way through this particular breed. And we bring the 2 class winners out. They don't look alike, and as I said earlier, they maybe don't have to stick to a certain type and kind, just kind of deal with what we've got dealt. And I think we're the quality hogs within the class. And I think of the pair, there's one with just a little more flexibility, a little more just overall growth, power, soundness, good kind of a gilt that's solid all the way through. I like to go in second class. Congratulations, you got the champion Chester.
Congratulations to Kai Taipin from Oregon. Your champion Chester Gilt coming in from that ring will be from that class is our second place individual, Hannah Seymour from California.
To bring the second place gilt out, and I think these 2 gilts are very similar in their type and kind. They're heavy duty kind of gilts that offer a good look on the side, a level tail set, and with that said, I just read with this one just got a little more today, probably due to maturity. I like her stoutness that she does have, really well prepared kind of a gilt that's plenty flexible off the front end. I like the gilt that is second in that drive to be reserved. Congratulations.
Congratulations, your reserve champion Chester, Hannah Seymour from California. We'll now begin our Duroc Gilt drive. Class number 1, Duroc Gilts. Exhibitors, you can move forward.
So as our Duroc show starts up here, we start out with our youngest class, obviously. Again, we go sort a few more classes of the red hogs here. Looks like we've got I think about 6 classes of red ones. Duroc show's pretty large here today, and so we're excited about that. Again, Travis putting those hogs up. Come out that he wants to rerun here. Like these gilts are born from about July the 14th to August the 27th. Again, Travis has got 3 of them put up there to rerun.
I'd like to announce Kaylee Bontrager, who's working the ring down there on Lily Anderson over here. Lily, stand up. It's your birthday. Let's put our hands together for both of those individuals. Happy birthday, Kaylee, and happy birthday, Lily.
Travis is working through this bottom end here, and looks like he's got him up to about 8th place there. That's Jocelyn Slade from Mesa, Arizona. It's an Ottenwalter bred hog. They're in 8th place. Looks like Travis has still got 4 of them out here and 3 in the pins there that he's going to rerun here in just a minute. Back in the 7th place hole there is the 6894 of Haley Danielle from Florence, Texas. Travis is going to let these next 3 back out and run the top 6 here and see which one sorts itself to the top. Like in the Travis is down to the top 4 here. We've got the 43-42 That's Cord Dobson from Liberty, Kansas, bred by Big Papa Show Pigs. The 2917 is Sierra Reese from Fort Lupton, Colorado. Gilt, bred by Peaks to Prairie Show Pigs, sired by High Rise. The 3566 goes in the 4th hole. That's Chloe Stevens from Eaton, Colorado. Gilt, bred by Simpsons, sired by EST.
Here's our first class of reds. I think young ladies have the gilts that find their way to the top. Very similar in their type and kind in terms of design and build. Ones that can get out and go off both ends, and I think that's important for this particular age and weight. I think gilts that can get out and go, and I think still have some muscle, still have some power. Young lady in the black shirt wins the drive. Let's give her a nice round of applause. I think that's the combination gilt. She is the pound bigger gilt. That's not why she wins. I think she offers the most quality. She's got the most power, the most shape and muscularity. I think she puts it together in a good looking kind of a package. I think a nice place to start. The gilt in second is one that's I think built to be a good, big one. I think one that's attractive on the side. She opens up good off both ends. Maybe you want to square her front feet up ever so slightly. You want to get critical on her. I think one that just gives out just stifle muscle and power, not quite as much as that class winner, but I think follows type and kind of that class winner. The gilt in third offers a lot of power and muscle and heavy structure kind of a gilt. She gets a little forward in her shoulder the longer the drive goes on. The one that's really square in her hind leg, you get right behind her, just want to just balance her up ever so slightly. Probably a little more time on feet and maturity. I think that gilt can get better with time. Young man does a nice job driving her. The next one out is one that's attractive on the side, like our first and second place gilt. But with that said, she gets a little easier in her top line the longer the drive goes on. One that's got a big forearm. I think her angle up front's right. She just gets a little more awkward the longer the drive goes on, swinging her hind end. The one that I thought presented well, gives you a nice look on the side. She needed to be fourth. Pound light gilt lands in fifth, got some shape, got a good look on the side. She comes at me, she gets too narrow, she's a little rounder out of her hip. Need to see just a little more structure for that particular age of that gilt. Next one out, a young lady has one, the dark colored gilt, attractive on the side, plenty flexible enough, just runs out of bone and power. Just need to see just a little more of her in terms of just to soften her rib cage, give her a little bigger frame at the same time. A good class. I visited with the remainder of the exhibitors. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Congratulations, winning class 1 of our Durocs, Kylie Aronson from California. Second, Sierra Reese, Colorado. Third, Cord Dobson, Kansas. Fourth, Chloe Stevens, Colorado. Fifth, Hannah Slate, California. Sixth, Kaylee Betancourt, California. Seventh, Haley Danielle, Texas. 8th, Jocelyn Slade, Arizona. 9th, Peyton Otis, New Mexico. 10th, Gavin Cooper, Kansas. 11th, Justin Zach, California. 12th, Kiera Ward, Oregon. 13th, Lane Gardner, California. 14th, Johanna Woltring, Oregon. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Coming into the ring at this time is our second class of Duroc Gilts.
Moving into our second class of Duroc Gilts here. Let us know there at home on our page if you can hear things, what you see, what we need to do a little better here. This is our maiden voyage commentating and doing this on Facebook Live, so let us know what you think and how you like it, or what we can change here to make it better for you as the days go on. We've got a lot of livestock show ahead of us, so we want to make sure everybody there at home can see what's happening. Again, Travis has turned 3 of them around pretty quickly, or 2 of them around here pretty quickly, and got them back in those pens to rerun them, and so we will bring them back out. Looks like our second one that got put in there quickly was Max Heimer, and it's good to have the Heimer family out here. Jesse's always been a good supporter of our show and brought a lot of animals out here, and that's a gilt that's bred by Max, sired by Stan Tall. That gilt's name is Princess. So glad to see Max out here showing those hogs. Looks like we've got 4 in the pen now, and the third one we've got in there is Carson Mendonza from Modesto, California. Looks like we've got 12 in this class. Again, these gilts are farrowed from June 18th to about July the 8th, so fairly close there in age. Again, I think we've got about 1,000 head of hogs in the barn here this week. And I think the count they gave us last night was from 29 or 30 different states, and so we started this deal with the NSR/NJSA and CPS Team Purebred folks, and our management at that time allowed us to bring these guys in. We went from about 115 hogs in the barn to where we are today at somewhere nearing 1,000, so it's great to have that kind of growth and the support of those organizations to allow us to do what we do here. Again, Travis looks like he's got about 5 of them up there to rerun, and started back there on the bottom end of the class, and he's pulling those hogs off and putting them in the pens and talking to each of those individuals and telling them why they're placed where they are. We're very happy to have Travis here judging our gilts today and tomorrow, and we've got Mark Hogue coming in, and Mark will do our market barrows on Sunday, and Brad Mabry is going to do our showmanship later this afternoon. And I don't know Brad, but excited to get to know him and see how his style is, and comes very highly recommended. Looks like Travis has left 2 out, and he'll pull these top 5 that he pinned off here and run them against those other 2 and see how everything lands. Again, looks like he's going to run about 7 of these gilts. The next one he's pulling out there is Max Heimer from Taylor, Missouri, up on the hill there. Really nice gilt there. Tall fronted, good looking kind of a gilt. Good from the profile for dang sure. Gilt that comes out there that was in that first hole, really heavy structured and tall shouldered kind of a gilt there. Nice class of red hogs. Looks like he puts the one up in 7th. Working his way through these fairly quickly now. Again, I want to thank our sponsors here today, and starting out our biggest swine show sponsors. Here's been Ott and Walter Show Pigs, Mark and Russell, and the crew over there at Ott and Walters in Colusa, California, have been great supporters of our show and great promoters for our show and buyers in our gilt sale and in our junior auction as well. And so we appreciate their support. We've got Bo there at WW Paul Scales, and Bo's been a great supporter and been out here and weighs our hogs back in the ring for us, and that company has been a very big supporter of the Arizona National and youth and livestock around the country. Sanderson Ford is our local Ford dealer here, and without a doubt they're the best there is. Those guys do an awesome job, and Dave and Andrew Kimmerly over there, and we surely appreciate what they do for us here, and as well as all other shows around the state and what they do for the youth of Arizona. Next Level Livestock Camps, Jeff Maynard and the crew there at Next Level, we're glad to have them here, and they will be coming to you Facebook Live this week, and gonna see some of the winners here from Arizona Nationals, and that organization's been blowing up around the country, and as well as the hog camps and showmanship camps around the country. We've started the goat showmanship camps, and so we appreciate their support here of the Arizona Nationals. Jeff's our announcer here this morning, always does an amazing job. So Showbloom's sponsored all of our photos here, so all the photos will be free on the Arizona National website, and we really appreciate Showbloom for that support and for them paying for those photos for everyone to have for free. We really appreciate that support from Showbloom. Sullivan's Supply, again, Sullivan's is a supporter here and has been great for our show and given us a lot of prizes and been big supporters. Had their trailer here for our youth to have the supplies that they need. And Hallflex tags, supplies all of our tags. Glitter Dust, new outfit there, Joseph Parker and their crew there in California, and that is a skin and hair product there, and Joseph's got that thing up and going and doing well. Really good product there, and we really appreciate his support, and they're getting out there into the market. FlexTran, Tractor Supply, and our folks there at Generation X, we appreciate Alan and the crew over there for their sponsorship and support Arizona Nationals there in California. They move a lot of show pigs around the country, and appreciate that support. So a little plug for our sponsors. We appreciate their help and support. Without them, it makes things pretty hard. It looks like we're down to our top 3 here, and Travis is driving them there. Again, we've got on the far end there in the plaid shirt, we got Max Heimer, and no need to introduce the Heimer family to show hogs. Jesse and the crew there is already doing an awesome job. Maddie Nissen from California, Bratton bred Yorkshire Gilt there. Maddie is with the Ott and Walter crew there, and that's a very nice gilt there. Maddie's family, their sister there, had a really nice Berkshire Gilt. Looks like Maddie ends up 3rd, and
this is really the red gilts, and let's pay the exhibitors off with a big round of applause to start this drive off, because I think quality runs deep all the way through. Top 4 in here, I think, all offer a lot of positive things, different types and kinds. we get them out here. I studied the top trio a little bit longer because all offer a lot of quality, and there's differences within them. There's one that had a little more muscle, there's one that had a little more structure, and then there's one that is probably the combination gilt in terms of femininity, flexibility, squareness coming and going. Gives you a great look on the side. If you would, help me congratulate the young man right there. He's got our class winner. And I think he does so in this drive from a feet leg standpoint and endurance. I'm not going to say she's the heaviest skeleton because she's not. I think she's adequate for her age. I think flexibility, look on the side, and just her angles read true. She looks like the best one from a skeleton standpoint off both ends. There's no question in my mind. Only question I had, the two gilts down the way that are second and third have more mass, have more muscle, have more structure. I think she's good enough in this particular drive. The gilt in second is heavier skeleton, as I said. Maybe just want to correct her when she comes right at me. She wants to get a little closer at her knee, wants to push maybe a little more than ideal out of her hind leg, and one that I thought mass and muscle, center body, high quality underline, one that I think gives you a nice look on the side. She's not the neatest in her neck, but she's good enough for me. I think a nice kind of a gilt. Just want to tweak her knee ever so slightly, give her a shot more endurance. Similar situation with the gilt in third. Just want to see more endurance in her because her skin and hair, her presentation is second to none. When she gets her on the side, she's awesome. I think she pushes a little bit more the longer the drive goes on off both ends, and maybe just want to get a little bulldoggy up front. The one that I do like in terms of shape and muscle and power, just want to give her just a little more go off both ends, a little more endurance. This one here, you put another 75 pounds on that one. I think that one is a real good mature one. You don't want to tweak her underline ever so slightly, but that one on the side is as good as you can make one. Her head carriage, her neck, the breeding value in that one is awesome. I mean, I would take that one home without any question. Just need to see more substance, more bone, more overall power. Young man does an awesome job driving that gilt. Just want to power her up just ever so slightly. That one there would be fun to take home and breed. Just need to see more of her in this particular class. This gilt does have more density. She's a bigger skeleton hog, but still got some muscle and power, heavy boned, and you get on top of her, she opens up good. Maybe want to freshen her up ever so slightly. Where I put her in fifth was just her overall endurance. She wanted to get tied off both ends. She gets a little shorter stepping. I think if she gets out and flexes just a little bit better, we'll probably talk her in that top trio because there's a lot of quality there. Just need to see more overall go off both ends. Here's an attractive gilt. I let drive a little bit longer to try to get a read on her hind leg. She wants to pop her hind ankle there, not quite as much comfort at the ground. I think you give her a little more security. She's got a good look coming at you, attractive kind of a gilt. Just need to see more of this overall flexibility out of her hip and hind leg. Next one comes out is pound smaller. I like her bone, I like her power that she does have. I think there's some breeding value in that gilt. Need to see her bigger, need to see her flex and reach a little bit better out of her hind end. I visited with the remainder of the exhibitors in the class. Extremely good class, extremely high quality. Let's give them all one big round of applause.
Congratulations, winning class number 2 is Max Heimer from Missouri. Second, Lane Gardner, California. Third, Maddie Nissen, California. Fourth, Carson Mendonza, California. Fifth, Kirsten Cooper, Kansas. Sixth, Hannah Seymour, California. Seventh, Brenna Bell, Texas. Eighth, Callie Lukeman, California. Ninth, Sierra Reese, Colorado. 10th, Grace Hargrader, California. 11th, Riley Hunt, Colorado. And 12th, Joey Griffin, Wyoming.
Again, as we bring our Class 3 Duroc gilts in there, Travis makes one a quick turnaround there. It's the Kikoa Typin from Klamath Falls, Oregon. It's a gilt sired by High Alert, bred by Ott and Walter. Go ahead. Yep. In Travis's. Turned another one around there. Back in the second pin to rerun. Another big class of Durocs. Head. In the pin for a rerun there is Kendall McMillan from Caldwell, Idaho. Gilt sired by He-Man, bred by Oregon State University. That young lady's extremely tough in the showmanship divisions. This comes here, I think, last year, and it's either first or second in her division for a couple of years here, and very, very competitive there at home and in Oregon. And we've seen that young lady at our next level camps up there multiple times, 4 or 5 times, and she's extremely competitive in the show ring. It's like Travis has started back there on the bottom end and working his way back to the top. Pinning those bottom 3 or 4 off there quickly and working through this class. Again, it's a little cooler in this barn this morning than it normally is. Normally we're t-shirt weather in here, and it's a little cooler in here this morning, the 40s and 50s outside. And these barns aren't heated here in Arizona. We're not used to this kind of weather, so we're getting a little taste of what some of the folks around the country deal with. Big cold snap here. It may actually freeze 4 or 5 days in a row. Lots of parts of the country, I'm sure, just love to be above freezing at times, but we're pretty spoiled here in the wintertime. Pretty awesome most of the time for folks to travel out here, and we had some folks traveling yesterday that came through a couple of different bad snowstorms there in New Mexico and in northern Arizona as they came in, and got families here from Michigan, Wisconsin, of course every state on the West Coast, and scattered all over the country from 30 different states. We're pretty proud of that and glad to have those people here. If you're watching today, shoot us a comment there and tell us where you're watching from, and if you're watching your kids or grandkids or just watching for fun, let us know who our audience is out there, so we've got a better way to serve you and to try to do this better, to make it more user friendly and viewer friendly. .24-30 gilt comes out there and going across the ring there in the screen, and that gilt's really busted open and big ribbed. Kind of a gilt there. That one is Megan Guerin from Penn Valley, California. Gilt is sired by High Alert. Kendall McMillan goes in the 4th hole there with that Oregon State gilt. Again, Kendall's from Caldwell, Idaho. Left out there is Kaya Typin, the 3440. Again, another gilt there sired by High Alert. Boar's done an excellent job. This red breed, gilt bred by Ott and Walter. Kaya's there in the center of the ring going away from us there in the blue shirt. Very, very nice gilt. Functional sound. Good built kind of a gilt. The young lady there in the salmon colored shirt, the 7116. is Addie Huskins from Woodland, California. Another high alert bred by Ott and Walters there in California. These gilts are litter mates. Here's all three of these gilts are from the same litter, so pretty good chance that the high alert hog is going to win the show or to win the class here, without doubt. 7116, young lady there in the salmon shirt closest to the camera, is going to be third. And here's Travis to talk our top two.
A real nice class, maybe not quite the depth that we had in the last drive, but quality is just as good, if not better, in terms of just quality on this top and the last class. I think all run together because they're good on the top end, and I think of the pair of gilts, they're the good prepared, well prepared kind of hogs. Good skin and hair, flexibility is good enough. Easy class winner for me is this young lady right here. I think that's the epitome of an impeccable balance and design on the side. One that pulls herself together, looks like a female, still has enough muscle. Is she the biggest ended? No, she's not, but I think she handles herself good enough for this particular age. Looks like she fits that age as well. I think a nice kind of a gilt to win the drive. Extremely well prepared gilt that lands in second. She is obviously a heavier in terms of pounds and a bigger center kind of a gilt. Want to clean her underline up a little bit there, got a few pins. That's not why she gets beat. Where I want to beat that gilt is coming at me and going away. She just needs to be cracked open underneath, but I think on the side where this young lady shows her is her best. And she looks good on the side, gets a little tighter out of her hind end the longer the drive goes on. Just need to crack her open off both ends. Next gilt out is very similar to our second place gilt in terms of one on the side, level and square. I like her tail set she does have. I think she flexes and reaches good enough off both ends. Need to see more body, need to see more substance and power, but I think a nice kind of a gilt to be third. Just does a lot of things in a non, just a balanced package with no big holes. I think a nice gilt just to be third. Really heavy skeleton gilt, need to fix her knee, but after that, I thought she had some positives in terms of heaviness and structure. Longer the drive goes on, she gets a little rounder out of her hip. She wants to swing her ever so slightly. I think we just free her up a little bit, just give her a little more flexibility. I like that gilt's heaviness and structure. Need to see more body and overall center dimension in her. Here's one that gives you a nice look on the side, a dark colored gilt, really well prepared, and one that looks good on the side. She needs to be wider coming, wider going. Need to fix her vulva size at the same time. Doesn't quite match for me. She's kind of a bigger, prettier gilt. Trying to put a little more power than ideal, but just doesn't quite match at the ground. Nice prepared young lady, does a good job driving that gilt. Need to see more of her. Here's a gilt that does have more power and muscularity. She's a little longer, maybe not as quite as coordinated out of her hip and hind leg. She's a little tight there at her ankle. Longer the drive goes on, she wanted to push a little more. The lady does a good job driving her there. Need to see a little bit more shape for as much density as she does have, but a nice kind of a gilt. Light colored gilt is one that kind of moved her way up. Like her power, like her center body, a little more moderation. Just need to see a little more bone in that particular hog. Good class all the way through. I visited with the remainder of the exhibitors. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Congratulations, winning class number 3 of our Duroc Gilts, Kakua Taipan from Oregon. Second, Megan Guerin, California. Third, Addie Hiskins, California. Fourth, Kendall McMillan, Idaho. Fifth, Tawny Roberts, Colorado. Sixth, Kylie Melsness, Oregon. Seventh, Mateo Verdugo, California. Eighth, Heather Cash, Texas. Ninth, Lila Raymond, California. 10th, Ellie Kowalski, Oregon. 11th, Maya Verdugo, California. 12th, Zachary Willis, Kansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Coming into the ring is our 4th class of Duroc Gilts.
Again, as we come in here, class 9 of the day with our bringing our Durocs in. Travis has turned a couple of those gilts around pretty quickly and got them back in that first few holes to resort them as time goes on. Again, these gilts are born on date is from about the 10th to the 27th of May. So a little tighter on age in these red hogs. We've got more numbers. In the 9th hole, there's the 4605 of Clara Kowalski, gilt bred by Small Town Genetics, sired by Rocket. The next one in is the 6413. That's Hunter Clevenger from Central Point, Oregon, Bill and Chinner Range. Red hogs, sired by Kane 7, stands alone. Next one in is the 4695 Josephine Bennett, Falls City, Oregon, bred by Ottenwalter, sired by Project X. Next one in is the 6457. That's Mary Horwath, bred by Ottenwalter, another Project X hog. Travis has left 3 out and bring the other top 2 that he pinned off there, bring them out for the drive. Got the 6529 young lady in the red sweater there going across the screen. It's Alyssa Donick from Ripon, California, Triangle L Farm, sired by Rocket. The 1491 gilt. That's Hallie Montgomery from Susanville, California, bred by Ottenwalter, sired by Attention. Big support from our California folks there, and a large amount of those animals that we have here West Coast and then scattered all over the country from there, but we really appreciate that support. Sight going in the 5th hole there is Ridge Kaiser from Eaton, Colorado. Gilt sired by Watch This 43-1, bred by Hines and Albright. Doug was out here a few years ago and helped us commentate on the Walton webcasting, and haven't seen Doug this year. I believe that next one that just went in there was Grace Curry from Denair, California, Small Town Genetics, bred gilt, sired by Stan Tall. Travis will give us our placing.
Solid pair here in this red class. Very similar type and kind, like the young lady over here to win the drive, and I think she does so pretty easily. That's the balance gilt on the side that still maintains flexibility. She's not the widest, maybe underneath, maybe want to trim her belly up there a little bit there, but I think gilt that I do like in terms of her flexibility, her upheadedness, one that looks like she'll make a good sow at the same time. She opens up true off both ends. I think a nice place to start. Young lady, I apologize to make you drive a little bit longer, but the reason you're up in second is because you maintain the mobility, the soundness that we like. I think that gilt's flex and reach is good enough off both ends. A gilt we need to see just a little bit more in the center part of her body. I do like that gilt's shape and muscularity, maybe better than our class winner, but a gilt that balances up real good on the side there. Maybe got a few slap knots there on her hind leg, but it doesn't take away from her overall just structure. I think a nice kind of a gilt to be second. The gilt third that comes out next is as heavy skeleton as anything in the class. One that offers some shape and muscularity. She's a little more timid the way she moves out of her hind leg. She's too close walking behind. Young lady does a nice job showing her side profile. Just need to spread her at the ground. Need to give her a little bit more length of hip and just overall flexibility out of her hip and hind leg. Real powerful gilt. Offers some moderation and power. Longer the drive goes on, she wants to push off both ends. Probably a little bit too wide chested. Just gets a little worn down there. Longer the drive goes on. Like her power, like her muscle, like her center body. Thought she needed to land fourth. The fifth place gilt is one that's really a long neck kind of a gilt. She's too flat up in her front feet, not quite as coordinated out of her hip and hind leg. Longer the drive goes on, she gets to just swinging her hind end more than ideal. Got some neat pieces to her there. Just need to correct her a little bit from a top line standpoint. Next gilt comes out, dark hided kind of a hog, heavy structure, just a little flatter in her forearm and center body. Need to see just a little bit more flesh in there. I visited with the remainder of the exhibitors. Congratulations to all of them. Let's pay them off with a nice round of applause.
In the ring now is Class 10 of the day, Duroc Gilts. Looks like the first one that gets put in the pin there is Jace Sousa. Jace is from Hanford, California. Gilt's bred by J&J Genetics. Jace is another one of those kids that's been to our camp there in California, and he's pretty aggressive. He gets out there and gets with it. Really aggressive show style and loves the show hog deal. Next in is the 4076. That's Soraya Avila from Merced, California. That's a gilt sired by Project X, bred by Otten Walters. The Alton Walter crew has got into that red hog deal pretty heavy here the last few years and bought and bred some really nice females from around the country, and kind of reaching out, not just into the crossbred deal anymore, but got some purebred stuff out there that's very, very competitive. And Russell really likes these red hogs, and they're working hard to make their program better, as well as a lot of other people around the country. It's a breed that's been very competitive. The overall champions around the country the last several years.
I think the top trio all offer a lot of quality. The easy thing to do is to use the young lady right here to win the drive. Let's give her a nice round of applause. She's got the balance Gilt, and without a question gives you the best look on the side. I think flexibility is to her advantage. Good head and neck, good carriage. I think she puts a lot of nice things together. Doesn't overwhelm you anywhere, but I think a nice place to start. Well, that second and third were close, and the young man's dark Gilt suits me second best. I like that Gilt's heaviness, the structure. I think one that balances up good on the side. She's not quite as wide as you get right behind her from the hock to ground, but I think a nice broody kind of a Gilt. Looks like a sow to me. The Gilt in third, I missed her initially, but she comes in. Just want to crack her open a little bit when she comes right at me, because I think that Gilt's design and skeleton's good enough, and I think she'll make a nice sow. She's up on her pastures, gives you a good look, and at the same time, maybe just want to ease her back and just give her just a little more cushion up front. But I think that Gilt's design on the side is a nice kind of a hog there all the way through. Maybe blend her in a little bit there to her hem loin hookup. Moderation and power and bone is probably as good as anything in this particular drive. She just gets a little shorter coupled all the way through. Want to trim her up there, or not trim her up, just fix her a little bit the way she wrinkles up in her hide. I like her heaviness and structure. I think a bear making kind of a Gilt there to land fourth. Fifth place Gilt has a lot of quality. That Gilt is extremely good, and I tried to give her a little more time to see if she'd loosen up out of her hip and hind leg, and it kind of went the other way. I think that Gilt's square enough. She just gets a little tighter wound off both ends. The longer the drive goes on, she wanted to tie up more, but I think quality's to her advantage. I like her bone. I like her structure that she does have. Just need to see her get out and go better. If we do, I think she's our top pair. Nice kind of a Gilt there. Just need to loosen her up. Thick broody kind of a Gilt that comes out next. She comes at you wide. Big cage kind of a hog. Just push it a little bit more the longer the drive goes on, out of her hip and hind leg. She's a little shorter, rounder out of her hip. Just need to trim her up for me in the show ring today. Attractive Gilt comes out next. Just gets a little more timid the way she wants to plant and drive up front. She's probably pushed too far forward in her shoulder. Want to crack her open and she get right behind her at the same time. I visited the remainder exhibitors. Good class and a good top end. Let's give those all those young people a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to Hannah Hawksworth from California winning that class of Duroc Gilts. Second place, Jay Souza from California. Third, Ian Plum. Fourth, Soraya Villa from California. Fifth, Jordan Neugebauer, California. Seventh, Sierra Short, California. Seventh, Kendall Geist, California. Eighth, Delaney Fame, Washington.
again, congratulations to those winners of the last class, or Class 10. As we go in the Class 11 here, we've got another large class of reds, and Travis has flipped a few of these around super quick there. Young Mendonça boy from California, and can't see quite who was in the other one there, but getting a few texts from folks around the country that are watching us, and one of our locals there, Rusty Despain, up there in northern Arizona. We appreciate Rusty watching up there. Good family here in our state, local folks, and hopefully we'll see them down here in the next few days to come and watch.
First and second place individuals from each of our Duroc classes to come back for our champion Duroc drive. So please start bringing those hogs to the makeup area at this time.
Again, we'll probably cut this video, looks like, after the Hampshires, so that this thing's not so long, but that's our plan here, folks, is to go through the Durocs and pick our champion there, and then go through our Hampshires, and in fact we probably will go through our Hampshires and then our Herefords and Tamworths, and then we'll cut it before the land races. There's only one class of those Tams and Herefords, and so some of you guys out there in the Midwest, Loof and your crew there, you need to be sending us some more of them Herefords out here. If you're watching, we've only got about 7 of them. We've had a bigger turnout of those in the past few years. Those numbers are down, and so we need to get a few of those things sent out here. Again, Class 11, Travis has got 5 of them out here. He's driving for the champion drive here, and it looks like we've got Carson Mendonça there with Backroads sired Gilt, bred by Byers. There in the center of the ring with the peach checkered colored shirt there, orange colored checkered shirt. We've got the 4598 there of Ellie Kowalski, bred by Small Town Genetics, sired by Rocket. James Backman and crew, awesome supporters of our show, and James was on our committee there for a few years, and we appreciate James's support there. Let's see, Travis just puts up the 7169. That's Jesse Ledesma, Gilt, bred by Weisinger, sired by Second to None. Jesse's another young man been through our camp there, recognize him out of California. Good young family there. The 4598 goes in the 4th hole there. That's again Ellie Kowalski there, the small town bred hog. We've got left out here the 7114. Connor Corella from Tulare, California, Gilt, bred by Blake Denner, sired by Consensus. Travis puts up the one here in 3rd. That's the 1298. Cade Catterson, Gilt, bred by RW Genetics, sired by Consensus, Whitman bred hog. So Travis will pick up the mic here in a second and tell us who our class winner is going to be.
Reds, I think a pair of Gilts that offer a little bit of differences in terms of frame and length of body, and apologize to the young man in the green. We made him drive a little bit longer because I couldn't read the step that Gilt was taking. and to his advantage, that gilt has got a little bit looser. Looks like she broke with a little bit of staff, and that's probably due to it. And of the pair, I read one with just a little more flex and reach behind, and that is the advantage that goes to this young man right here that's drove the longest. Let's congratulate him. He's got our class winner. You got a nice gilt that offers some heaviness and structure. She gives you a nice look. I think proportions are just a little bit better than our gilt in second in terms of length of body and frame size. I like that gilt, her overall just dimensions. I think she's heavy enough boned. I think that she offers some pasture set that's really, really correct. Young man does an awesome job driving our second place gilt as he did so, the gilt before. I like that gilt's head and neck better than our class winner, but for me, the longer the drive goes on, she gets a little bit easier in her top line, just wants to stab her hind leg. But I think one that's big and long and offers some high quality underline, offers some good traits. I just think to that gilt, she doesn't quite match her bone at the same time, but she gives us a great silhouette, good looking kind of a gilt that's got some shape and freshness, extremely well prepared gilt to be in second. The dark hiding gilt that lands in third offers some bone and structure. Just for me, she just gets a little more timid the longer the drive goes on. Out of her hip and hind leg, need to give her a little more just flesh, just freshen her up all the way through. But I like her heaviness of bone as good as anything in this particular drive. Bigger, longer body kind of a hose that comes out next. Just gets a little flatter there. She's a little forward in her shoulder. Just need to see more meat and muscle in this one for her age. But I do like the picture she paints from the size, plenty good enough. Just need to see more muscle. This one does have more muscle density and stoutness. Just for me, she's not near coordinated enough out of her hip and hind leg. He gets on her head. She wants to pull under herself. Need to clean her hock up at the same time. Just give her a little more security. I like her stoutness. I like her bone. I like her center body. Young man does a good job driving her there. She's a big forearm kind of a gilt there. Just need to make her her hind leg work with a little more comfort and ease. I visited with this young lady, just a little rounder out of her hip, the remainder of the showman as well. But let's congratulate them with a big round of applause. From Class 4. Class winners, give them a big round of applause driving for our champion red gilt. been a good show in terms of numbers, and wouldn't expect anything less because I think quality of this breed has been strong for a while, and I think there's a lot of differences. And at the same time, as you can tell, the 6 class winners maybe don't all look alike. And as I said earlier, and I'll say throughout the next 2 days, our class winners maybe don't have to look alike. I have a set trend that I like, but we'll deal with what we've got within each drive. And start the day, or start the red show off with the young lady's Class 1 winner. She's a stout, robust kind of a gilt, one that's got as much power and center body for her age as any of them. She's a little shorter out of her hip, but I thought she won that class pretty easily. Young man out of the second class has one as feminine as you can make one in terms of feet, legs, and high quality underline. A gilt that balances up and flexibility is good enough in that gilt. Didn't call her the heaviest structure, but I thought she matched for what she is, and I think she gets into the hunt. The next gilt out is the dark-hided gilt that I love from a design standpoint. That gilt from the side, as good as you can paint one. I think her bone matches. I think everything. She's not the bulkiest or biggest for her age, and maybe at times out of her hind leg takes a little more timid of a step, and I can't get a great read on that because I think her angles are right. She's maybe just not quite one to get out and reach, and at times she'll reach good enough, and other times she won't. But I like that gilt silhouette. I think another one that gets into contention. A young lady over there with the gilt on the rail is one. Puts a lot of things together and won a competitive class. I think she's a heavy structure kind of a gilt that gives you a great look on the side. Yes, she's still called a power hog and looks like a female. I think a nice kind of a gilt that won a very, very competitive class. And then we get into this gilt here. She's a bigger design hog. I thought one that got a little tighter maybe the longer this drive goes on, that I think looks like will make a nice kind of a sow. We finish up with our final class, real heavy duty kind of a hog that I couldn't get a great read in terms of the way she was moving, and maybe not quite as loose out of her hip and hind leg, but I called her good enough in that drive, and I think she's one that's heavy enough in her structure. Got a good center body working here. I think a nice kind of a hog to finish up our day. Good class, or good group, and good classes throughout the day. For me, I think there's one that just puts it all together in terms of design and balance and structure. I like this young lady's best. Congratulations.
California, your champion, Gilt. Coming in from that class will be our second place individual dropping in, Jay Souza from California.
We bring the second place gilt out, and that young man's got a gilt that, as they call, looks like a sow. She's stout and rugged, and one that's got a big cage working in her, and at the same time, maybe not quite as maybe attractive as our champion and class winner, but I think a gilt that needs to get in contention in terms of bone, and maybe doesn't quite take as good a reach as a few of these other ones, but a good kind of a gilt that was second. I think it's close to reserve. I think there's a pair of them that are very similar in their type and kind. For me, I read one with just a little more comfort, knees off both ends. Great look. It looks like she'll make a great sow. High quality underline. I like that young man out of second class for reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations, your reserve champion Duroc Gilt is Max Heimer from Missouri. All of our breed champion gilt, all of our breed champion gilts, we will need you to be here with your gilts immediately following the showmanship drive tonight. Breed champion gilt exhibitors, we need you to bring your gilts to the ring immediately following the end of showmanship today. We will be shooting promotional videos of your gilts to put on Facebook for the sale.
Again, really competitive Duroc drive there. We had the champion, as if you couldn't hear, there was Henna Hawksworth, and the reserve was Max Heimer. The champion is guaranteed to get in the sale slot there. The reserve, the Travis, and we'll evaluate those tomorrow after we choose our champion crossbred winners and see if we can pull some more of those peers up into that sales slot. We're now on class 12 Hampshire Gilts. Just 2 classes of Hampshires here today. Our Hampshire show's a little smaller than it has been. Hope that the quality is high. Looks like we've got 8 of them in the first class and about 10 in the second. These gilts are born from May the 1st to July the 11th. Looks like our next class is all April gilts. Looks like we're shutting them down for a minute there. We're waiting on one more to get in here to complete our class. Thank you. Again, this barn's pretty crowded and pretty full, so we've got to be patient with our folks that are trying to get those hogs in. But looks like our last young man comes in with one, and we've got him fired back up and rolling again. Again, we got an amazing team here, and our swine group. We've got our superintendents, Vicki Trump. Vicki's been here for, I think, 5 years as a superintendent, and then our newest addition to the team is Jennifer Martin. Jennifer is professor there, or teaches there at CSU in Colorado, and was involved in the National Western Stock Show there, and helps at several of those Texas shows, Texas State Fair, and some of those things there, and has a lot of experience. We're glad to have Jennifer on our team here, and of course Jeff Maynard. Jeff's been our guy that's really helped do all of our promotion and helped with all of our banners and things, and we as an announcer and does an awesome job there, and helped with Facebook Live and a lot of different things there. Appreciate Jeff being on our team. Kevin Rogers, and Kevin is on our executive board here at the Arizona Nationals, is president-elect to the board of directors, and has been on our swine team here and been a great asset to us and helped out here. And the last few days has been helping place pigs in this barn, and it's quite a task. We're full, and we're going to evaluate our situation here and come up with some more space and some more pens, and hopefully we can bring a few more hogs here in the future. Like I said, our goal is to be at 1,000, and we're there, and we're gonna, next goal is 2,000. We hope to become one of the bigger shows in the country. That's our game plan, and we'd love to be the place to go. So then again, on our team there is Kaylee Bontrager. It's Kaylee's birthday today. Any of you know Kaylee, make sure and shoot her a text or a message on Facebook and wish her happy birthday. It's also Jeff's birthday today. And so Kaylee's out there working the ring, and she has a vast amount of experience. Comes over to the next level show camps team there from the NJSA, and we're glad to have her on our team. And then we've got Erica Trump and Allie Schindler as our clerks. Those two are working hard to keep us moving, and then we've got our team of interns here that are helping us with our Facebook Live. So again, Travis is down to, looks like, the top 3 here. Got Wyatt DeBusk with Heimer Gilt, sired by Magnum.
They're the first class of hams, so we got
Wyatt's
a little
third.
some age variation, and I think or 2.5 months more said, and it looks like that, and that's all right. We just sort them on quality. But our top trio, I think, all for sure different. Their types and kinds. Easy thing to do is to use this young man in the pink shirt to win the class, and I think she does so pretty easily for me in terms of feet, legs, and heaviness of structure. I think a nice kind of a gilt that's got a good center body working in her. Maybe a little trim her underline up, clean her up just a little bit there, and a few pins. But I think a gilt that offers quality and a flexible kind of a package, yet still attractive. I think second and third are close, and they're total opposite sides of the spectrum. I like the design and build of the second place gilt. High quality underline, got a very attractive look to her. She's a little more fragile in her overall features, but I think one that pastures are good. She's flexible enough. That's why I gave her the advantage to be second. Here's a Vera making kind of a gilt that lands in third. I mean, shape and muscle and power, probably as dense as anything we've seen today, but at the same time, she's a little harsher there in the center part of her body. I think her angles are right. Young man does a good job driving her. She's just a little slower moving, but I don't think that's due to unsoundness. I just want to soften her up a little bit for me in the breeding gilt show today. The next one comes out as one that gives you great look on the side. Good head, neck, and level enough in her type and kind. Just gets a little shorter about her hip. She's a little straighter from hock to ground. Just want to give her a little more extension for me. Next one comes out similar to our second place gilt in terms of design from the side. One that just gets a little flatter up front and just wants to maybe just push a little forward in her shoulder. Longer the drive goes on, she wants to compensate, gets a little straighter from hock to ground. Next one comes out, a little harder body, probably the younger gilt in the drive. Just need to give her more flesh, a little more time on feet, just a little bit harder muscle for me, not quite as comfortable in the show ring. Next one comes out, body, shape, and muscle, need to crack her open, coming and going. The one that does give you a big kind of a look, a bigger outline kind of a hog, need to see more muscle in her. Finish up the drive with one that just not quite getting around good enough for me to get any higher. But a good class all the way through. Let's give those exhibitors a round of applause.
Again, another very competitive class there in our last class of Hampshires. Wayne Barrett wins that class with one bred by Schaefer's Gold Rush, prime time sired gilt. That boar's done a way good job. Travis turns two around super fast here, right out, right back in. 3160 is Kylie Gillard from California, Kilmer hog, and the 6571 hog of Lane Masick from Perry, Michigan. Austin Jutesburg hog. Talked to that family, and they had quite a long drive down here. Next one back in is the 6519 Kevin Rogers from Mesa, Arizona, with a Heimer bred gilt, sired by Range Wars. Kevin's dad is, we call him Kevin Senior and Junior. They're not really Senior and Junior, but it's Kevin Gary and his dad Kevin. Kevin is, again, our president-elect for our board of directors and a longtime member of this organization and supporter of youth around the state. Former president of Arizona Farm Bureau for 14 years, and a lot of you around the country might know him from that position. Travis puts in a fourth hog there. Can't get the back tag on that young man to tell you who he is. Again, the water appears to be a little deeper here in this last class of Hampshires. Quality is really good here. Travis spending a little more time sorting on these gilts, and I think he's probably going to leave the one gilt here out that be coming into your screen here just right now, the 6588. Nelson Hansen, gilt bred by Chad Day, sired by Stranded. He brings these next gilts out. Again, this is the gilt of Lane Mazik from Michigan, Perry, Michigan. Long drive here. Next one out is the 3160 of Kylie Gillard from Atwater, California. Kilmer bred gilt, sired by Look at Me. Next one out is Kevin Rogers with the Heimer bred gilt, sired by Range Wars. Gilt's name is Bertha. Quality of the Hampshire show appears to be very good from the sidelines here. Few in numbers and high in quality. Good to see that. Young man's big gilt there that he puts in 6 is the 3269 gilt. Tate McConnell from Wellston, Oklahoma, bred by the McConnell family, sired by Gobbler. That young guy was at our next level camp we were at here a few weeks back, if I remember right. Crew there at Next Level has promoted the heck out of our show here. We appreciate that, and brought a lot of people as we were unloading hogs there the last few days. Saw a lot of Next Level gear, and I know that at those camps that Arizona National Show has been promoted pretty heavily and got a lot of people here. Appreciate that support. Next in is the 6588. Nelson Hansen, the Chad Day gilt, goes in the 5th hole. Again, Travis taking a little extra time here to make sure he gets the one he wants there on top. Fourth one in is the 3160 there of pretty tight placing up here in the top 3 holes. Here's Travis.
Give it up for the hamster class here. This is probably the deepest class we've had today, and true to mean that. I think we had a Berkshire class that rivaled it, but there's quality all the way down here, and that's good to say. In this breed at the time, I think that's a positive note to lead forward. So top trio, I think, are real good. I think there's differences within them, and that's all right. I think for me, a competitive class all the way through, but for me, there's one to gravitate towards and go ahead and pull the trigger on pretty easily. Let's congratulate that young lady with our class winner. I think that's a real good kind of a Gilt. It is the epitome of balance and design. Yes, she's the power hog in terms of feet and legs, impeccable. She's real good there, a high quality underline. I think an awesome Gilt to start this drive. I thought second and third were close because they both offer a lot of positive things. For me, I think reach and endurance out of their hip and hind leg goes the advantage of the young man's dark Gilt. She's going to be second in this class, and I think that Gilt on the side is rivals our class winner because she is awesome in terms of feet and legs and the way she's designed. She's got a little swelling inside her hind leg. It doesn't affect her. It's not ideal from a blemish standpoint, but I like that Gilt's feet and legs, her endurance, her reach off both ends. She's my second pick in this drive. Young man does an awesome job driving our third place Gilt, and when she hit the ring, I thought there's a great class winner, potential breed champion, because she's of that caliber. She's as heavy skeleton as anything in the drive. For me, I can't get a great read on the way she plants and drives out of her hip and hind leg. She's a little shorter stepping. I don't know if it's due to a little bit of an injury because skeleton, she's right. Her ankles are right. She's true there. She's maybe not quite as robust as some of the other ones, but I like that Gilt a great deal, and I think that's a very, very high quality Gilt to be third in the competitive class of Hampshire Gilts. Fourth place Gilt. Here's another one. She came out early, and I thought this is another one that's going to play at it because her skeleton design, she's proportional, she's right there. She's a little smaller probably for her age, but I'm not going to penalize her too much there. I just think she runs out of just overall power in terms of just overall growth and frame size compared to some of the other ones, but a great feet and legs. I think ankles reach through, a nice kind of a hog there to be fourth in a very, very competitive class. Next one comes out. Young man, I apologize I made you work for it, but I think you got a great Gilt in terms of her design. She's really well prepared. I think very similar to our class winner in terms of her design. She's not quite as powerful as some of the other ones, and that's where I want to get off on that Gilt just a little bit. I need to see more density, just a little more shape and muscularity. Get right to her stifle. I need to see more just overall power. Bigger frame, bigger outline kind of a Gilt that comes out next. The longer the drive goes on, she gets too timid and short stepping, but I like that Gilt's frame and dimension she does have. Just need to free her up out of her right hind leg. Real powerful, muscular Gilt. Young man's got there. I think one that's got some generator ability for sure. Just need to see her just reach off both ends more ideally for me. Longer the drive, but she went on there, just got too tight out of her hind leg and wanted to swing so much. Next Gilt, design's good, just gets a little lower front. I want to crack her knee open at the same time, but a good balance kind of a Gilt. Young lady does a good job driving her. I'm sure when she loaded her, didn't think she'd be eighth, but this class is really, really deep. Nice kind of a hog. Need to elevate her up front and give her a little more security behind. Heavy skeleton Gilt, need to see more body. Maybe not feeling the best today, but there's a lot of value in that particular hog. Nice way to finish up with a real muscular kind of a Gilt, just wants to push her hot. Good class, really, really deep. Let's give those exhibitors a round of applause.
Congratulations, winning class number 2 of our Hampshires is Whitney Whitaker from California. Second, Kevin Rogers, Arizona. Third, Lane Mazik, Michigan. Fourth, Kylie Gillard, California. Fifth, Nelson Hansen, California. Sixth, Tate McConnell, Oklahoma. Seventh, Austin Young, California. Eighth, Nelson Hansen, California. Ninth, Jenna Melsness, Oregon. 10th, Taylor McConnell, Oklahoma. Coming in at this time, we'll have our first place individuals from both of our classes. First, winning class number 1, Wayne Barnett from Oregon. And first from class number 2, Whitney Whitaker from California.
Put our hands together out here for our 2 showmen driving for our champion hamsters. Hampshire breed is something that, we breed a few of them, and it's fun to show good ones, and I think the time is You know, maybe been a little back and forth here the past few months, but we're on the right drive and we're going the right way. And I think quality like this helps us all want to drive that way, because I think that this pair of Gilts, and I think the depth of quality of this show, maybe not the biggest in numbers, but man, these have been really, really good all the way through. I talked to both within their class. I think there's one that just puts it all together in terms of bulk and body, bone, soundness, freshness, gives you a great look. Let's congratulate that young lady out of the second class. She's got our champion Hampshire.
Congratulations to Whitney Whitaker from California, your champion Hampshire. Coming in from that class is Kevin Rogers from Arizona.
Talk about this pair of Gilts, and I think that there's some similarities. Young man out of the first class has one that's a bigger frame, heavier skeleton kind of a hog. Maybe not quite as much just go out of her hind leg as a few of the other ones, but I like that Gilt's just her dimension that she does have. Want to trim her underline up, just a nickel there, but she gets into the heat, and I think that's a very competitive purebred Gilt that can stand a lot of competition on different levels. Pulled the Gilt that was second in that real good class, and I talked to her in the drive. On the side, she is incredible in terms of the way she can plant and drive off both ends. High quality underline, good center body. She levels up, she squares, she can flex and go. She suits me second best. Congratulations, the young man that was second in that drive.
Congratulations, your reserve champion Hampshire Gilt, Kevin Rogers from Arizona. We'll now begin our Hereford and Tamworth drive. Oh, sorry, we're taking a break.